Hello, everyone, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome to this still yet unnamed solo project that I'm conducting. I've decided to do a series of interviews with gentlemen and friends that I've come to know in the area that I'm living in, which is Waltham Abbey in Essex. And today is actually my first guest, a gentleman that I've had the privilege of knowing basically at my local watering hole at this point. Uh, it's a place where every time I go out for one drink, I end up coming back home at like 6 o'clock in the morning. So it's definitely a place that, if you're looking for somewhere, really good ambiance, come and check out. But my guest today is a good friend of mine, Martin Harte. How are you doing, Martin? Thanks for joining us.
Oh, I'm very glad to be here. Thank you, Brook. It's a pleasure. It's been a long time since I've been on webcam, so we'll talk about that.
Yeah, I'll go easy on you. I'll go easy on you. Don't worry about it. And I think there's a rumor that this broadcast might be being shown in the Welsh Harp. So to everybody out there who might be listening, welcome and thanks for tuning in. So
Yeah,
Martin, give us a little brief introduction about yourself. And you are the silent partner and co-proprietor at the Welsh Harp. Is that correct?
Yeah, the one that cannot be named. That's correct. Yeah, we took it over 6 months ago, Brook. Took over from a predecessor. Spent a lot of time in January. We actually got the pub in January, did it all up, started painting. A lot of hard work from my brother Peter and his wife Corinne. Did a lot of the painting, sanded the floors. His kids even started chipping in, got the family to work. So it's been a lot of work, but it's becoming rewarding. It's getting the community back together, meeting new friends, and so it's going all good so far.
Is the Welsh Harp something that you visited, previously before you were involved in it? Was it like your kind of going to place?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was a pub that we knew a lot of friends from. Name a few. So we went. We just thought when it came about, we decided to just go for it. Really, it looked like a good opportunity. We were offered it by the brewery, and we took it on from them.
Fantastic. It's definitely a great location. And ironically, I have now an ex-girlfriend. And the first time that I got in there, I actually heard that her father and her grandfather used to drink at the Welsh Harp. And they had personalized glasses up on the bar, like the family had their cups and stuff like that. So yeah, I've since that's even before I moved here. It's been such an establishment. It's actually been a pretty big part of my life as well, ironically. So
yeah,
I'm really glad you guys have taken it over and done a really fantastic job. And when can people expect to see you there? Just briefly, if anybody wants to come and meet you at the pub.
I'm there quite a lot. I'm there 24 hours a day at the moment. So
Quite right.
it's me and my nephew Owen. Can't say it. Sorry, I have to mention Owen, who's done a sterling job. A lot of people know Owen more than myself.
Well, hopefully not after this broadcast.
Hopefully not after this broadcast. They can talk to me. So don't be shy.
Absolutely. Yeah, Owen is a good guy. We'll get into a bit of that. Oh, I see we have a friend in the back. What's the name of our guest?
This is Salsa.
Salsa.
You're gonna have to forgive me. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm sure it's not an issue. So yeah, we wanted to discuss a couple of interesting topics today. You started off by saying that you used to have a broadcast of some kind.
Yeah,
you want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Me and a friend, there was a lot of buzz going around with the UK independent wrestling scene, who me and my friend were very passionate about going around visiting, went all over the country, over Scotland, over Great Britain, all over Great Britain, really. So it was good fun. It's just a bit of British banter. It doesn't take itself seriously. It's like athletics on steroids, So, but they're not on steroids. Must I add for legal reasons, but it's like acrobats. It's a great buzz. It was great fun. And we had a few beverages, one or two, and so we started discussing more on our topical point of view. It's a thing called the McGillis position, which he's still working on himself. So he's out at the moment. Actually, Lee might send a few messages and see how send a few messages. He's going to a show at the moment, so we did that for a few years. It was a lot of fun doing a few sketches. Lee had to dress up as a woman a few times. So, but it's it's the 21st century, Brook. 21st century. It was good laughs.
Absolutely.
Me acting like a senile old man. Putting face paint on, do my eyeliners. Yeah, it was great. It was actually good fun. So who knows? That might be back.
Is this on YouTube? Can people actually find this and
They
kind of
can
see
find it
some
on
of
YouTube,
this?
yeah.
They
We
can.
stopped doing it. We stopped doing it a while ago. I mean, people who watch
Sure.
may watch Rev Pro Wrestling, ICW, and Progress, if I'm allowed to add, because they're corporate companies now. But
Sure.
that's when they were independent, may I add. So we used to do a lot of the reviewing. We used to talk about the upcoming shows, which I thought was quite positive. It was good, and now it's massive. It's a huge hit now. They've got their own offset with one of the biggest companies, WWE. If anyone's heard of that, but it's so it's probably stopped being as appealing at the moment. But we'll find some other way into it because we're quite good. We enjoy the old media, the old broadcasting. So see what happens.
Definitely. I think your voice has been missing from the media space for quite too long at this point, my friend. So
absolutely.
If wrestling is something that you're passionate about and you and your friend could fill an hour and a half, I would say definitely get into that. I mean, did you ever wrestle in real life though? Did you ever get in the ring and?
Do you know what we did a training program with a company called with Progress. It's it was, as much as people say it's the fake, I'll tell you what, you do that one day, and I'll tell you something, you will never say that's fake again. You have to wake up, you have to ask your lodger to put your socks on for you. Thank God it wasn't my underwear, because my back was literally in pieces. You get they do take care of you. They do a scoop slam, hold the back in it. It's they show you this fine art of it. They do a lot of the warm-ups, a lot of the training, but it's enduring stuff, it's not
Yes.
It's not like, oh, they know how to fall. Christ, yeah, they do know how to fall, but my God, you wake up the next day, you're either having if you do that, 3 days a week, or in the shows they do, if you get newfound respect for it, I tell you. But it was like 50 quid to do it. I did it for a friend's birthday. Yeah, it was great, and it was good fun. I don't think I'll do it professionally, no.
So we're not going to have like a Tuesday night wrestling at the Harp anytime soon.
Well, no, not really, matey. So we'll soon see. It might be on a Friday night.
Oh, I think your friend Lee is in the chat, and he's like he still dresses as a woman sometimes. Is that your friend?
Yeah, that's Lee.
Lee, well, thanks for joining us. Lee. Yeah, glad to know the tradition hasn't died. We might have to suggest cross-dressing Thursdays at the Harp or something. Come on down.
Yeah, drag shows. Come on down, everyone.
Fantastic. So I mean, again, you're working at the Harp and so forth. What has been your best experience and your worst experience working at the Harp?
Well, working. I suppose it's say worst. I wouldn't say it negatively. I'd just say it's just been it's been a challenge. I'd call it a challenge. If the hours to begin with, we started off with the kitchen, getting that all opened. And that's another thing with the work you've got to put in, with the hours you've got to do. It was obviously learning how to keep up to date with the actual kitchen itself. That was some enduring. That was like 12-hour days. It was. I know some chefs do a lot more. I'm not complaining, but when you're thrown in the deep end with a trained chef who's very disciplined in his art, it wakes you up a lot. The good side of it, I suppose, it's just seeing things develop and meeting the new people. Knowing new people, and that's it. I mean, because it can be good fun. I mean, you see behind the bar, you do get a lot of laughs. You can be more yourself being in a bar work than any other job.
Definitely. So. In fact, my mother and actually my uncle as well, both of them, their desire was to own and run a pub for exactly the reasons you're discussing now. In that if you have your locals and you get that sense of community, there really isn't anything better than, people sitting around sharing their stories with a couple of drinks. And I mean, that's exactly why every time I come out there, I don't get home until like 6 a.m. I always say I'm going for one drink, and it's never one drink, right? Which is always the case.
It's like that's a sign of a good pub, though, I'd say. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. So I mean, so before you. Exactly. And it is iconic. So before you were working at the Hub, just give us a little brief history about where you came from, maybe a couple of the jobs that you've done before you got to this point.
Oh, sounds like my job interview again. No,
Why do you want to work at this company?
um, who knows? No, before that, I was in the IT game. Actually, I was doing IT sales, working with a lot of working with mainly Apple projects, and yeah, it was a very challenging role. Look, that was it was very enjoyable. You meet a lot of fun people in the sales industry. I don't know if you work in sales, don't you?
Oh,
You did
I've
before
worked
then,
in
so
sales, of course. Not
yeah,
here. It must be a
and it's a lot
riot
more.
here.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot more fun. You get to have fun with them after work. You work hard and you play hard culture, and it's a lot of. And when you're doing well, you do brilliantly. When you're not,
Yes.
you work harder to improve yourself. So that was my previous roles. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. And you were born and raised in Waltham Abbey, or did you all move here?
No, I started. I was born in Edmonton, moved over to Palmer's Green. I lived in Palmer's Green for most of my life. I moved over here when I was about 19 years old. I've lived here for about 16 years. So I suppose in theory, I've probably lived here well, in my grown up life, I've lived here longer. So this is the place I remember. I've always remembered here more from the memories here. So a lot more
Excellent.
to come, I hope.
Yeah, don't we all? Don't we all?
Yeah.
And I mean, you've obviously seen, the transformation as, London has expanded and the Abbey has expanded and so forth. Is there anything that you miss from, the 19 years? Was it better back then, or what do you think about
I
where it is now?
I think what Waltham Abbey. I think it's changed. It has to change, like
Of course,
everything in life.
sure.
With the growing population, you're going to see. I think there was a comfort zone in Waltham Abbey when we first moved here, because I must admit I never went out around here. I'd say I thought it was quite a cliquey culture, so to speak. That was back then. Moving forward now, I think now, because it's bigger population, I think in some degree it's got better, because you're meeting new people all the time. You're meeting people from afar. They're actually coming to Waltham Abbey to socialise. They're going to the pie and mash shop. They're coming to the Welsh Harp. So I think it's got better over the years. But back then it was it was a lot more tighter community, because they weren't building the new estates and somewhat. So yeah, definitely, it's always going to get better, I'd say.
I mean, it definitely is a very friendly community. I could speak for
Yes.
myself. I've only been in the UK for 3 years, and I came from Enfield Wash, which not that far, maybe like 20 minutes away, but I mean, it's North London. I stayed there for a year and a half, and I knew nobody. The only person I knew was like the gentleman working at the Tesco Express and my neighbor, because she'd collect Amazon packages for me. But coming out here, from the people working just downstairs from where I live, I wouldn't give that away. Like the mayoress of Waltham Abbey, to you guys at the Harp, the gentleman and lady over at the wine bar, even at a couple restaurants. I mean, just everybody has been so welcoming, and I've made so many great friends. Even Owen, whom you mentioned, and his new girlfriend. All of these great things. Yeah, it's just been such a community feel,
Yeah.
and that's always what I've envisioned about like an English village, English town, and it's the first place I've actually come to and I've experienced that.
Like Emmerdale Farm.
Exactly. Well, how is our guest? I see
Yeah, he's good. He's good.
he's good. All right, yeah. I mean,
Should
take all
start
the
coming
time you
out with some
need.
opinions soon. That's fine.
So, I mean, out here, some of the people that we've met, that we know in common, and we got to mention this guy, which is our present counselor for the area, a gentleman. We'll just say Dave, right? Dave. He's the counselor for what? Is Waltham Abbey South? Is it? I'm not exactly sure what our district is.
That's South, I believe, is correct. Yes.
Yeah, Waltham Abbey South, and he's a gentleman with the Green Party.
That's correct. Yeah.
Now, we don't have to get too much into politics, but
No.
what are your thoughts on the Green Party? And did you vote for our friend Dave? I mean, you don't have to say, but
Well, I'm actually lying in a different district, so I was
oh,
dealing
okay.
with the actual north of it, because won't say where I live.
Sure,
But
sure.
yeah, I'm in a different district. But I think I think that day, I think what it is, move just obviously on the politics side with the Green Party, we got to think what our priorities. Sorry, what are priorities on what needs to be dealt with in the country and in the borough? I mean, don't get me wrong, the Green Party have a lot of good values. They do have a lot of important things to think about. But whereas, you look at what is important at the moment, you've got crime rates, you've got police officers needed, you've got feel secure walking up and down the street. I think, not saying that it's not important to keep the place in a tidy environment, lower down car traffic, but I think you've got to put priorities ahead of other factors.
I would agree. Especially on, as you say, I mean, a lot of people outside of the Abbey probably would not know this, but we actually had an explosion at the local post office where some gentlemen basically ripped out the ATM machine, the ABM machine. I mean, that's pretty horrific. And then I think there was another attempt at a location. Oh, Martin, have we lost you? Oh, it looks like we've lost Martin for a second there. Hopefully he's going to join us back here in a minute. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I was just sharing about this story about this. A lot of the crime that we have out here in the UK, especially in the Abbey, it's been absolutely crazy. Oh, it looks like we've got Martin back. Hopefully, let's see. Martin, can you hear us?
Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's fine.
Apologize. Yeah, no, that was horrific. I remember the day that happened. It was like just complete. I think that shocked. It was like something you see in some Hollywood film, isn't it? 4 people just smashing a ATM machine out and speeding off. So
yeah, it was insane.
Still didn't wake me up. I mean, I would have been a useless police officer on that side.
I think I was actually coming back from the wine bar when that was supposed to have happened.
Yes,
and I didn't hear anything. I didn't, that's very unusual.
It's always the way. You just, some things you miss out, don't you? It's crazy, but you wouldn't expect that to happen in such a little town.
No. And I, some of the people that I spoke to, because, there's a lot of online communities in the Abbey, Crime Watch and, buy, sell and trade, all those types of things. And there was a lot of discussion about it. And apparently this is quite an issue over in Waltham Cross, which we're not that far from, just to be, candid. But yeah, when I heard that, I was absolutely shocked. I did not expect that. But, as a good community does, it rallies together, people are looking out for each other. So that's definitely a positive. But I agree with you that the crime has to be a focus.
Something's got to be sorted out. Something's got to be addressed.
Yes.
Obviously, you've got dedication from the Conservatives saying about 20,000 police officers. Sure. He's trying to get more prison space. However, at the same time, people are more bothered about other elements.
Yeah. I mean, I know specifically there's a lot of environmental issues because it is a beautiful environment. The Abbey is fantastic. It's got lots of green spaces, gardens, all these other types of things. But yeah, as you say,
sorry.
Yeah, sure. I'm going to assume the mascot of the broadcast is clawing at the door, ladies and gentlemen. So Martin is on cat duty, I believe.
So sorry about that. That's what happens when you have cat dad.
Hopefully he's not going down to the bar, so.
No, God, so. It cause a riot. In a good way. Yeah, I mean, so forgive me. We just, you're saying about the, I think it was about 20,000 police officers. They talk about crime rates, whereas things aren't as important.
Exactly. So I mean, yeah, definitely the crime issue is, and I mean, it's not that we don't expect that our councillor and the Green Party not to stand up for the environment, which is significant in this area. But as you say, there are probably more pressing things people should be addressing.
Yes.
And I have a lot of respect for our good friend Dave. I have a lot of respect for, they were the only party that I saw actually out in the streets trying to meet people, sign people up. They're doing the work. So I fully respect their effort, although he and I probably don't agree on anything.
Ditto. I agree with things, but I don't agree with it in the on priorities. But yeah, but on a good side, Dave. I mean, they had a Conservative Party doing a outside meet and greet, and they left the place
Yeah,
in an
eventually they
absolute
did.
tip. And Dave actually had to go out with his other Green parties and clean the place up. So he does
Yeah,
put his
the
priorities on.
balloons.
He does live to his priorities. That's I suppose it is a good point to make as well.
No, I agree. I will fully agree with that. I think yeah, the Conservatives came out with some balloons, and for those who don't know, when the balloons deflated, the animals could suffocate on them. They could eat it, think it's food, and
Yeah.
yeah, Dave went out there and he cleaned it up. So yeah, more props to him. Oh, is everything all
Sorry.
right?
Yeah, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Sorry.
Fair enough. Fair. And again, I mean, have you actually gone out and spent some time with our counselor at all? Were you there
Yeah,
for
well,
his launching?
yeah. I wasn't there for his launching.
Sure.
With the pub and everything. But he did come in, gave him a pint on the house. It was very nice to congratulate him because he did work hard for it.
He
To be
certainly did.
fair. Obviously he gets a stressful time with a lot of people disagreeing with him on his opinions as well. So, but it's but yeah, we did obviously handshake and wish him the best. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. As I know you would extend the hospitality out to them. So
he's probably going to question that 3 pint now, but I did.
very generous of you. Very generous of you. So going on, like, okay, so when you're not at the Harp, what is it that you like to do for fun? So who is Martin Harte when he's not the power behind the Harp?
Well, I'm a keen cook, Brook. I like doing it. I like going out cooking. I like going, socialising in other ways, like eating out with friends. I like the football or soccer.
Yeah, we do have
listen to
some
my music.
Americans watching, so
Excuse the finger movement. Yeah, no, it's I'm also into the movies. I love music, so there's a lot about me. That I enjoy doing, other than serving the fine public of Waltham Abbey.
Of course.
Yeah.
And as I say, I know you were spending some time in the kitchen. Are you like a professional chef, like trained chef sort of thing?
I'm not. I was trained working. Dealt with my food hygiene and went straight into it with the head chef at the time. So cooking in a professional environment to living, to you cooking at home it's two different things. It's just two different kettle fish. I mean, I'm the kind of guy that would spend 3 hours making a lasagna, whereas you need someone to cook you food in 20 minutes when you're waiting in a pub with your pint. So
exactly.
That's totally different, two different beasts altogether.
But obviously, you handled it well, and you've learned a lot from the experience.
Yeah, as long as you learn from something that everyone's gonna fall on something. So as long as you learn from it, that's the only thing you can do in any experience, can't you?
Excellent. Everything all right there? Yeah.
Everything's fine. I think these earpieces. I'm going to get a headset like you next time, matey, and with the old microphone.
Well, if you and your friend Lee relaunch, a podcast, yeah, I could recommend some stuff, man. Definitely.
Oh, cool.
So
I should have borrowed it off him. I think he's got all of it.
Oh, there you go. I mean, what was the name of the broadcast you and your friend used to do? Do you remember?
It's called the McGillivray Position.
Oh, okay. So people could look for that on YouTube and
people can look for that. They can find it. This was admittedly 6 years ago. A lot of drunken fun. So you can see what I used to get up to.
Fair enough. And I mean, are you still a fan of the wrestling then? Are you still?
I'm not. I must admit, I'm not as much, but I do keep an eye on it. I do keep an eye because you've got a lot of friends that still watch it, so it's nice just to keep engaging in that. But yeah, I'll keep an eye on it when I can. It's more the independent shows when you go out and you just have a good laugh, you have a few beers. It's a social element for me now. So, but it's not as much. I don't watch it as much as I used to. I think you get some different priorities, and you sort of go off some stuff sometimes.
I know here at the Abbey they actually do have like a small independent wrestling show that they actually throw in the town hall.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen. Have you been? Have you checked it out? Is it any good?
Well, Laura, our cleaner, she was talking about that. She's been to a few shows, and she says it's quite enjoyable. It's a very family fun event. So it's not like what I would usually watch.
No blood and guts and
No,
glory
no,
kind of
no, no
thing.
bloke getting light bulbs smashed across his head and things like that. No, it's more like them landing on bloody sweets or something. It's yeah, but it's still good fun. I mean, they don't take themselves seriously, so that's what I laugh about.
And I mean, it can be good family fun. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Obviously, it's not to the
Yeah,
caliber that more serious fans would appreciate. More of the violence and the gore. I mean, it is generally a male soap opera. Would you say?
yeah. I mean, it is, but now you've got you look at it nowadays. The women are taking over a lot as well. I mean,
Oh,
they've really picked up. But yeah. They're starting to show the guys how it's done a lot of the time now. It's so I can't take anything away from them. But yeah, it's still obviously it's like the superhero, and the kids look up to the guy who's the Superman, don't they? So that's what it's always going to stay as. But yeah, the women are coming through and they're doing really well with it.
and who was like your, I guess your wrestling fan of back in the day? Who was there? One particular person you idolized?
Idolize? Oh no, I'll say idolize. It used to be a laugh when you used to watch back in the day in 2000, and you had me who was what 5 foot, 5 foot and weighed nothing, and everyone decided it'd be funny to start doing Brock Lesnar's F5 on me,
No.
yeah, so it was that was a funny time. But that's someone you watch because he goes on to he used to watch UFC as well. So that's who everyone used to watch. That's who you'd watch. It's just some mad like beast that look like a Hulk or something like that. And yeah, I mean, I don't want to get F5'd again because I've got that happened to me. And if you don't know what the F5 is, it's like on the shoulders and you're like throwing up in the air and you land on the character gets landed on their side. The only
Yes.
problem is the guy did it to me in New Jersey, and I got thrown in the air, 6'2" in the air, and
Wow.
landed on my ribs. I was winded. I thought, oh my god, my medical insurance is going to go through the roof here. So I don't know if Orin's watching, but thank you, Orin. I think you might have broken 2 of my ribs, but thank you.
Was it worth it, Martin? That's the question everybody really wants to know.
Was it worth it? Yeah, it definitely was worth it. It stopped a party in a pub, in a bar in New Jersey. So if you can do that, I mean, God, that's an achievement on its own.
As Lee is saying, you are a legend in that respect, right? Fantastic, fantastic. I mean, yeah, you're such a jovial character, in terms of your personality and all these different types of things. Who were some, besides wrestling, who were some of the influences that you had while growing up?
Um, I don't know who to say. Don't know who to say. Really.
Are you going to mention your brother,
You're
or
gonna say the obvious, and you say you're going on. You say about your dad or people like that. Yeah. You say
Excellent.
people like your dad, obviously, but that's an obvious statement, isn't it? I mean, for some people, obviously, it's not. But yeah, you say my dad works 7 days, 6 or 7 days a week, and you have to excuse me. Get on, just going live. Sorry.
Oh, you have something to deal with.
Don't work with animals and don't work with Gideon. Sorry, no, I haven't got anything to do. Sorry, mate. It's
That's all
but yeah,
right.
no,
That's all
you
right.
work. Yeah, my dad definitely. He worked 7 days a week. Hard working carpenter. I had 5. Yeah, my brothers and my sister. I suppose you'd all say he was a very positive role model. I didn't tend to look up to many footballers because I wasn't that big fan, So I suppose you always look up to the people that are in your life. I think it's a positive way of looking at things rather than looking at people that are either fantasy or people you're never going to meet.
Sure.
But yeah.
I mean, do you have any aspirations to do any kind of entertainment or acting or anything like that? Because again, you have this personality about you. So I was just wondering.
Well, I was asked by Owen. He said, "Have you ever thought of doing acting?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Oh, what's stopping you?" I said, "I can't act." So, yeah, that was a.
But to be fair, most
flaw, Brook.
But most actors and actresses can't act. Have you ever seen a Hugh Grant movie? He plays himself in every movie.
No, yeah. So as long as I can get that stutter, I could take over him, I guess, can't I? So, or I could be an extra. I could be an extra in EastEnders. There must be work out there for me on that.
Actually, I do know a company that's hiring people for like extras and stuff like that. We'll have a conversation. I'll see if I can get you on something. So now on to I guess some more personal insight. Well, what do you drink at the pub? What is your drink of choice?
My drink of choice. I've gone on a cycle at the moment, Brook. To be honest, I started off on the pale ale.
Yes.
Me and a friend of ours called Darren started drinking that. Then I started. Then obviously stock started sticking quite solid because I stopped drinking it and went on to the gins. Only problem with gin and tonic is it tastes very refreshing, and you're going from one bottle to the next, and then the stock couldn't keep up with on. So I'm safe to say I'm back on the Guinness now. But it's I think Guinness of choice. It's getting back to the winter. That's my drink of choice, bro.
Excellent. I mean, we could probably do some Guinness stories because I was actually a very big Guinness drinker back in Trinidad and Tobago, where I'm originally from. And
yes,
we didn't have the draft that you'll have, so we had the extra stout in bottles.
The glass bottles, right?
Yeah, and it was strong. It was 7%. I haven't seen that out here yet, but that was. Yeah, it puts some hairs on your chest, man.
You're probably gonna have a lot of homeless people under their pillows drinking that stuff,
Yeah,
like the special brew.
It was a meal. I have to say. But I did enjoy the draft. When I did travel, I used to drink Guinness draft. I can't do that anymore. It's too many calories. It's too much. It's too many carbs in it and stuff like that. But it is such a refreshing drink.
You've got to stop calorie counting. You lay off the food. You've got to lay off the food a little bit, Brook, and then just add up how many calories you're allowed on Guinness, and then substitute it from what you're not going to eat. There we are.
Right. That hasn't worked out for me.
No dairy, no meat, and then you can drink more Guinness. It's working perfectly.
I mean, if the goal is to consume more Guinness, I'm sure that's a diet many people would jump onto. But but I mean, for you, for instance, I mean, if we're going to touch on the diet, you are on some kind of special diet at the moment?
Yeah, I've tried it out. I've worked with, Owen, bless him. I've tried. I said I'm gonna see what it's like. Going on to no meat and no dairy. I call it plant based. I'm not going to say it's vegan.
Right.
I did it from Saturday. And you say it's only 4 or 5 days, but no, you learn a lot about your body when you lay off something that you've been living on for so long, and you haven't got it in your system anymore. It's you learn a lot about yourself, but it's interesting.
Yeah, definitely. And
I won't repulse people.
Is Guinness part of this new diet?
Oh well, yeah, Guinness. If you count having 2 bananas and a pint of Guinness for lunch, then yeah, the vegan thing's working brilliant for me in my favour. It's working in my odds.
Where would you say is the best Guinness that you've ever had?
I would say the Welsh Harp.
Oh, good man. Good man.
Oh, it's very good stuff. I mean, if you're counting places like Dublin and things like that, then I've actually had better Guinness in the west of Ireland, but I think that's on par with that. It's very good Guinness.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I did an excursion out to Dublin earlier this year, actually. Just a day visit, nothing too spectacular. And I went to the Guinness factory as a pilgrimage. Right? It's kind of, yeah. I mean, because I've been a fan of Guinness. Even if I'm not drinking it very often, I've been a fan of the company, Arthur Guinness. His story is quite remarkable. I believe it was like John Wesley Arthur was concerned about the drunkenness in Ireland. People were drinking, beer and whiskey. And I believe it was John Wesley. I might have that wrong, but John Wesley said, well, why don't you create a drink to replace the whiskey? And that was actually the beginning of Guinness. Guinness was actually supposed to be a non-drunkable alcoholic drink, where it was so packed with food and minerals and iron that you really couldn't get drunk off of it, right? Originally, not anymore, but
they got that right.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've changed the formula over the years and stuff like that. But it was actually a huge achievement, and as I think they just celebrated over 100 years. The money has gone to do all sorts of mission trips and build orphanages and all. Just it's such a rich story. And I made the trip out, just as I say it's a pilgrimage. I'm a fan of Guinness, and it was really good, but not the best that I've had, which was very strange.
Did you try pouring your own Guinness, Brook?
Yeah, I did. They had the dispensary there, and they have a new. Oh, I can't remember. I didn't pay for it. Somebody got it for me for a gift.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I don't actually know how.
Because I would have taught you a $5 to do it at ours.
I think I had a few things because they've got a new drink as well, the 13 hops.
13, yes.
That was very nice. That was very nice.
That's you've got to be on your guard with that though. It's lovely. It's a very good pale ale. I think it was a take on the old pale ale for Guinness. But that is a lovely drop. Did they mention much about that in the Guinness factory? It's been a while since I've been there.
They did. To be honest, I didn't really stick around much for that because there was this really cute girl there, but that's a whole other story.
Priorities, bro. Get your priorities.
Yeah, had to be done. But yeah, no, I mean Guinness is it's an icon at this point. It's a global icon. So I'm totally on board with that. And sometimes a refreshing glass of Guinness is sometimes the best thing. You really can't beat it. Sometimes on a very hot day, that's just what you need.
Oh, I totally agree with you.
Yeah,
it's just it sorts you out, especially for a hangover. It's full of iron.
So on that topic of young girls, let's discuss very brief. Is there a Mrs. Martin Harte in this scenario, or
no? There's not. Not I know of. Unless I forgot to call her back from a couple of dates. No, there's no Mrs. Harte. So
yeah. You're on the market and looking. Then fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I work in a pub, so that's got to be a good start.
Well, that was my next thing, is that you're in the right place. If it is that you want to meet someone, you definitely. In fact, I think a mutual friend that you recently met of mine, Sulan. For those who don't know her, her Instagram is the Lady and Her Plants. You all could look her up. I think you were there when she first came in, a couple weeks ago, and she just had such a fabulous time. And she's actually trying to gather her group of girls together to come down and hang out one of these Friday nights. So, yeah. I'm gonna see if I could, kind of palm a couple of her friends off on a couple of you guys. I try to pass it off on Owen, but Owen's taken at the moment apparently. So
Owen's a respectable man.
Yes, he is a respectable man.
He's very happy.
It's all business. It's all business with him when he's behind the bar.
He's the eye candy.
He's the eye candy. And I think, I wouldn't be giving too much away that she did say he was a good-looking chap. So, he's a good guy. He's a good guy.
Related to me.
There you go. The genetic stock is pretty brilliant. It's fantastic. So what did Owen tell you to get you on this vegan diet to try? Because
he didn't really tell me. I think it was more, I'm going to give it a go. I said, I'm going to give this a try because it worked very well for one of the barmaids, Demi. She tried it. She's done it now for 3 weeks, and she said, it's helped her. I won't go into too much detail, bless her, but it's just helped obviously your body's how it's reacting, and I was going to see if the main reason I wanted to see is I get a bit of not making detail, but you get some kind of problems on my arm. So I wanted to try and see if the dairy and the cheese, would sort of clear that out a little bit. I didn't know if it was something that I wasn't reacting to right. Obviously, meat's not a problem. Obviously, too much red meat is bad. It can be bad for your health. It's not eating in moderation. But yeah, it's that was the one thing. So I said to him on the Saturday, he worked with it. I think he feels left out a little bit though, I think now. So because he can't preach to me about veganism, so I'm like, there's nothing to have a go at me for anymore.
He's a good guy.
He's running out of things to
do. Running out of things to talk about. I mean, for those of you who don't know, I'm on the complete opposite of that. I'm on the carnivore diet where I eat nothing but animal products. I eat eggs, bacon, steak, burgers, some cheese, not too much. And I don't eat any vegetables or fruit.
Atkins diet.
Well, it's a more advanced version. Some people say it's like paleo, ketogenic kind of diet. It's kind of like what our ancestors ate and stuff like that. And Owen and I, we get into it from time to time, and in a very kind of friendly way. It's not necessarily not kind of animosity, because I'm not dogmatic. This diet works for me. Obviously, he seems to be thriving on his diet. And of course, for you, Martin, I hope, this diet or whatever diet you end up on, I hope it helps you and the issues that you've got as well.
Yeah, so you can only try, can't you?
Exactly.
It's more to work on that. So, but who knows? You probably take a day off here and there, and then go back onto it. But yeah, it's to be honest with you, I must admit, it's obviously there's a lot of grief because you get a lot of these eco warriors going, "Oh, meat is murder" and stuff like that. But sometimes, going back to the environment and things like that as well, you got to be a bit considerate on that side as well, because I suppose because of obviously farming does do a lot to the ecological welfare of the world. So, so I'm not an eco warrior, so I'd still have a steak and chips if I'm off it. I'm not going to go around someone's house and say, "Oh, I'm a vegan. I'll just cook you a big beef roast." Oh no, you're going to work on it. We'll put that out the window for a minute, then
Exactly. I mean, that's pretty much my attitude as well. I do hope to have Owen on as I continue this series. He and I will probably get into the vegan carnivore discussion, which will be very, very interesting.
I'll put it on pay-per-view.
That'll be a riot in the bar, believe me. In fact, the reason I left the Harp as late as I did the last time I was there is because he and I were just going back and forth until 6 o'clock in the morning.
Are you sure you weren't your dance going and doing the limbo?
Somebody has got video of the limbo had. You go. Oh, is it on Instagram? You got to tag me. Me. And anybody who's interested, my Instagram handle is I think it's the same Brook _Potter. Or just look for me on Instagram. Martin, is this the icon that you have up? Is this your Instagram handle?
Yeah, I'll get my Instagram. So if you want to follow it.
Yeah. So I'll put links to it below if anybody wants to follow along. But I mean, that was a pretty crazy night. Oh, what have you got?
No, nothing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because
that's cool. I'll do it later.
I mean, it was really cool. The people, they put on some Trinidad soca music. We were doing the limbo. I was doing the dollar wine. Somebody's got a video of that. It's probably you, Martin, have got the video of all
I've got it on stuff. There. I've got it all on there. Don't worry.
I don't mind you posting it. You just tag me. That's all. That's all I asked. Yeah,
I'll take it. I'll send it to you. Don't worry. No one's taking it. No one's gonna see it.
Oh, I don't mind. Believe me, there's worse things, worse videos of me out there. Don't worry.
Touche.
How about you? Is there any hidden dark secrets out there that people buried on the interweb that's like gonna kill your political career or something?
Well, after my career in drug smuggling, I mean, it's been pretty quiet, to be honest with you, mate. And being the porn king of Great Britain, I mean, I've got to keep a low profile, Jack.
Be careful, man. This is the Abbey, man. People might actually take you seriously. The amount of drugs and porn out here, it's ridiculous. This I call it Glastonbury light, right? You know, like all the hippies go to Glastonbury Festival, and I mean, of course, it's a complete drug show. The Abbey has a little bit of that going on. We not to sell anybody out, but yeah, definitely you got to be careful.
Oh, totally. You get people banging on the door in the bars later going, oh, what's this about you being a porn king? There's lies! You never heard of irony?
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. I mean, so on the other side, besides the profession and stuff like that, you talked about your music. Is there any? Well, how are you musically involved in? Is it you play an instrument or what do you do?
I used to play the piano. I enjoyed that.
That's amazing.
I haven't played for a long time, but it's like riding a bike. If you do watch it again, you will remember how to do it. It takes a bit of fine tuning, but I never went into a band or anything. But again, it's like, you know, like going to see independent bands or you go out to concerts. I'm kind of into music at the moment. Went to see them in Madison Square Garden. I think that got me buzzing again to go out to more live shows. Just a regret, you know, when you watch something on Glastonbury and you think, wow, you've got to go out and see these bands. It's but that's what, you know, music's life. Music's life.
Oh, couldn't agree with you more. Could not agree with you more. I mean, I'm the same thing. I had a couple of friends go out to Glastonbury, including our mutual friend Dave. He went out there, and they actually said if I wanted just to have the experience, they would get me a ticket and all this kind of thing. I wasn't too keen on camping in you know all the mud and the shit and everything else for the few days.
Yeah, I think I don't think I want to do that either.
yeah, but the music, I completely agree with you. The artists that would probably come out, I didn't know who was headlining this year, but they usually are some really great performances.
Yeah, I mean, it was the Cure and the Killers. I think the Killers absolutely smashed it when they got Johnny Marr up and Robert Smith for the Cure. They were just fantastic.
Oh wow, yeah.
That would have been worth the money alone just to see them two. But obviously you've got to sit through and you got to watch you know, people like Lewis Capaldi and you know, Kylie Minogue. I say she got it. Kylie's still got it.
That's it. I think I saw the Killers at Hyde Park during the summer last year, which was that was a fantastic performance.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, Glastonbury, you do get a nice flow of people. It's always a great show, great performance. I would probably like to do it once. But I mean, seeing as some of the attendants there seem to be in their 70s, it doesn't look like I have to be in any kind of rush.
No. I think you've got plenty of time, Brook. Don't worry.
yeah. It looks like, mean, you know, yeah, you know, God willing, as they say. But yeah, no, it is. I mean, and for me personally, coming from Trinidad and Tobago, we don't get acts and like real concerts, right? We get wedding singers, you know, leftover bands from the 80s that can't, they play weddings here, they come to Trinidad and they do a show. So that's been something I've been really looking forward to, is a lot of the A-class best performances you can get. I mean, is there an artist, a musical artist that really inspired you?
I'd say one I've loved was Freddie Mercury, him and David Bowie. I always say that when you got two artists to get two greatest songwriters together, you should always have probably the best song ever. Didn't work out for Mick Jagger and David Bowie, but I'm glad that when he did with Freddie Mercury, it was written by Freddie, and it's probably arguably one of the best songs ever written, in my opinion. Probably my favourite song. It's called whoever doesn't know, it's called Under Pressure. Fantastic. Yes. And it just showed off the lyric writing of both of them, and it just showed off how Freddie Mercury could just go that 3 octaves. You know, it's like an opera singer. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, completely agree. Completely. I mean, Freddie Mercury, obviously, God rest his soul, you know, man's passed on. I would have loved to see that man perform live.
Yeah, I mean, I watched the old videos and stuff like that. He's Live Aid. It's Live Aid show in 1986, if I recall, when he sang live, and he I think even Sir Elton John said that's probably one of the best live performances, not in Live Aid, but probably ever. So crazy.
Completely agree.
Yeah, I mean, the man was something else. He could lift the crowd. He could get everyone singing. yeah, God rest his soul.
Yeah, totally. Did you see the movie? What is it, Bohemian Rhapsody?
I
Did you
have.
catch it?
I saw
Yeah,
it.
what did you think?
Well, I peed a lot of people off by singing along to all the songs, but yeah, I thought it's brilliant.
I haven't seen it yet. It's on my list. I don't really get a lot of time for movies, but I definitely want to see that. Just for the music, it must be absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, they had to get Freddie Mercury singing voice over him because, for obvious reasons, no one can sing like Freddie. But yeah, I felt the film was great, and yeah, just for the music, it's a fantastic film. I think there was a lot missed out on the actual film. That's another story, but yeah, it's yeah. I mean, the music's just amazing, and the whole list is every great song he's done, really.
Are you hoping they do one for Bowie? A movie for Bowie?
Well, me being a bit of a film nerd, they're doing one apparently called.
Oh, really?
If I'm not mistaken, Dexter Fletcher, who did Rocket Man, is doing one. It's probably lazy writing, but it's going to be called Starman or Stardust. I don't know if they call it Stardust because they've done that, yeah. But yeah, it was about his life, and I know he had he had a different life. He was like 7 different people, you know. Ziggy Stardust, and so what, you know. The man lived some crazy life. That'd be an interesting film.
I'm sure it would. In fact, there seems to be a lot of these kind of like singing movies. I think they just did one on God, what's that chick's name? The pop singer, Lady Gaga. They did one for her. They did the one on Motley Crue. I don't know if you saw that one. That was ridiculously crazy. Yeah, I mean, just drugs, sex, and rock and roll, and just, I mean, the absolute chaos and mayhem. It's like something of The Boys, or The Boys Are in Town, or something like that.
Sounds like a Saturday night.
Yeah, at the Harp. My friend in Northern Ireland, he put me onto that, and it was so entertaining to watch. So there seems to be at the moment, and they did one for Elton John, as you said, Rocket Man.
Yeah, Rocket Man.
So that seems to be a trend right now. So hopefully we'll get some very good stories.
Yeah, absolutely. It'd be interesting to see how they take it. There's Rocket Man was just a prime example. They did it in a different way, obviously. You know, it was well written. I'd be interested to see more coming out. They're great films.
Is there somebody else that you'd like to see have a movie made about them?
I think they've already done one of Elvis, but that would be another interesting if they see what they're allowed to actually do now, because you know,
a modern take kind of thing.
Modern take, and what they're actually allowed to talk about now, rather than, you know, hiding. With Kurt Russell's film, I think they might have to be a bit more sensitive and talk more about him being a great entertainer. But I'd like to know more about how his life went through, how he got into the rock and roll scene, and then him going to the army, obviously, and coming back as one of the, you know, in America, the greatest entertainers. But I'm sure there's a lot of you learn about his life as well. That could be an interesting take.
I agree. I mean, he's obviously another musical icon. You know, absolutely an amazing story, and a very tragic one at that. I mean, you know, later on in his life, it was, you know, I think it was Hawaii. You know, he comes out, he's kind of fat, and he was like eating these ridiculous bacon sandwiches or something, and
banana sandwiches or something like that. Christ,
something like that. Yeah. And he was quite drugged up at the time as well. I understand, allegedly. So yeah, I think if they did that story with all of those facets in line, I think it'll be a great story. My friend Specular Effect is saying they should do a story on the Cranberries. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, shit, you know, bless her. It's Cranberries. So it'll be interesting. I've got to do a bit more research into their lifestyle. The music I was listening to be honest. I thought you said the Carpenters there for a second. That was
Carpenters were interesting too. Yeah, they had some interesting music.
Yeah.
Where's the mic? Is the mic on that side?
Sorry. I do beg pardon. Sorry, mate.
Yeah. No, it's fine. It was just sounding a bit off. No, the Cranberries. I think it's a very interesting. I don't know too much about it. Yeah, and my friend Specula is saying that the Carpenters were also great. So you got great taste in music, Martin. Are you going to be starting like a DJ business? You know, I'll be doing retro night at the Harp. What's going on?
No, I'm not. I'm not taking it on. That's still going to be Jason doing that, playing the Trinidadian music and doing the limbo. So we're leaving that to him.
Yeah,
I think my taste is questionable. I like a lot of stuff, but I think a lot of the stuff I like is yeah. They'll go, what?
No, that's excellent.
Start playing Barrington Levy on a quiet night. I don't think that's what you want to hear. So yeah,
it's amazing to me how much Caribbean music you guys actually know. You know, Barrington Levy, geez, that's some of the best music that's out there. Vice versa, love. I mean, I saw him live in concert. It was great.
Yeah, I know. It's we've busted on a few times. It's name a few requests as long as it's tasteful. Yeah. I've even we've even thrown in a bit of Slipknot once in a while. that went on by accident, I must admit. But yeah, and, you had the landlord saying, Martin, can you turn us off? And then one of the punters, you can name Mark, goes, Martin, is that Slipknot? And I went, yes, it is. He goes, oh no, Peter, they do a lot worse stuff than that. That's mild. It's like, oh, good, I'll leave it on. I had to turn it off. I mean, no, it's a wide range of music. You know, you just ask for it. We'll see if we can cater.
No, you guys did a good job. As I say, I was out there recently because Demi has some Caribbean connections.
Yes,
and she was pulling up some great soundtracks. You know, Cass, these are all Trinidadian and Caribbean artists. Cass, he did What Less. We got a Ja Cure, Jamaican guy, Unconditional Love. And I was in my element. I had my rum and cokes, cracking rum, and I was knocking back the music, and it was phenomenal. I would have never expected to have that experience out here. And I thank you guys and the hospitality of all of you to give me that.
Pleasure.
Yeah, it was great, man. It was great. Absolutely.
It's nice to be nice, as someone famously once said.
Thankfully, it's after hours, so we didn't have to bother too many people.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I think, you turned in a bit early that night, man. I think, you had a couple of drinks.
Did I?
I mean, well after closing time. You did your job,
yes,
definitely.
I did my job.
You were definitely did your job.
I collected that glass. I'm up to bit of the floor, you know.
You were productive. You were on point. You know, professional to a T. And then once that closing time hit in, you did it at the right time.
Now get out, everyone, or I'll start talking and making conversation with you.
Exactly.
They were flooding out the door.
And what was the name of the DJ that y'all had on the Saturday night? Was Jim?
DJ Jazzy J.
Jesse J.
Jazzy J.
Oh, okay.
Jazzy Peaky J.
Sorry?
Yeah. Jazzy Peaky J, if I recall.
No, he was very good. He was very good.
Very good.
He stuck around, and we had a good time with him as well. So
yeah,
again,
party going.
Always a good time, with you guys hanging out and stuff like that. Very, very friendly community. And I mean, you've met all of the other establishments as well. You've met, of course, the wine bar folks.
Yeah.
A couple of the other pub owners. I don't know if you've met a couple of them as well.
Yep. Tom, who's a current manager of the Sun.
Yes.
Tracy and Paul in the Queen's over the road to us.
Yes.
And the new manager of the Crown, Kirsty. Yeah, they're all pleasant enough. It's very close. So it's not like there's any turf war or anything, which is refreshing as well. Because you get a lot of pubs going, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, or just enjoy yourself and make sure the public are happy.
Exactly. And I mean, I do know that sometimes after hours, the staff mixes. You'll go from one place to another place. I've met a couple of you guys in the wine bar after hours and stuff. And that kind of community feel is really, really special. I don't know if that's everywhere. I know I haven't seen that anywhere else.
Yeah, that's another. That's a good thing about this area as well. It's just look out. When you know people, they look out for you.
Yeah. Definitely. So moving forward, Martin, when are you buying the pub outright?
When you lend me the money, when you give me some good ideas.
Oh, it's on me now.
Stocks, mate. Yeah, come on. You got to start giving me some ideas here.
No, but seriously, what is your plan moving forward? So like let's say the next 5 years, who am I going to be interviewing in 5 years?
Well, hopefully a millionaire, but or I might be streaming. Who knows? Maybe I'm streaming over from Australia.
maybe maybe that would be cool.
I could become a famous actor with your extras support.
Or a famous podcaster. Who knows?
I could be. Who knows?
Joe Rogan did it, right?
If he can do it, anyone can, right?
That's right. You just need some DMT and some cannabis, and you'll be fine.
Right, I'll put that on my list, Brook. Sorry.
But yeah. So what are your plans then? So I mean, obviously, what are your dreams, and where do you see yourself in about the next 5 years?
Who knows, Brook? Who knows? If I have a vision, who knows? We've got to go through this. We've got to go through the bar. We've got to go try and build this to be as great as it can be, and
Yes.
and then once this place is making loads and loads of money, I can then obviously look at other ideas, other visions. Whether that's getting another pub, getting a few more of them. See how it all works out. Otherwise, I'll be married to a 32 double D blonde, living in Hawaii. It could be, I've got a lot of dreams.
Clearly, has to be blonde. I do know, but I don't think she's a blonde.
Brook, I don't think it matters for me, mate. I'll do anything.
But I mean, just a piece of advice, bro. You are, a very, very positive person, very charismatic, and you have a fantastic eye. I think you need to do some kind of entertainment, something, whether it's YouTube or connect with your friend Lee again and get that podcast going with the skits and stuff like that. Definitely tap into that, my friend. I think it'd be wasted if you don't, share that in some capacity with the world.
Absolutely. We'll work it out.
I mean, how often do you see your friend Lee? I don't know if Lee is still in the chat, but
probably at the show now. Every bi-monthly. He's a good guy. Good guy. There's a group of them. You meet new friends and you meet a group of people. So
yeah, definitely. Well, who knows? I might get the chance to meet him at some time if he comes down.
Yeah, definitely.
Sort of thing.
Him and his girlfriend will be down for Sunday roast. So you never know.
Never know. And that's
not a euphemism. It's actually a Sunday roast. Sorry, Lee, if you heard that wrong. Sorry.
Yeah, no, the roast is good, and you guys took care of me because, as I say again, for the listeners, I'm on the carnivore diet, so I don't really do the Yorkshire pudding and the vegetables and the sides and such. But yeah, you guys have always given me a very good portion when I go there. Extra meat, bacon, whatever you could throw on. So definitely, if you're into that and you're in the area, Jeff, definitely stop by and check out the Harp for that. Now I know you all have also been running a number of promotions. Whose idea was it to do the Tuesday quiz night? Is that your genius, or what are we looking at?
I think that was a joint. That was a joint
thing, yeah.
Because we had recommendations from a couple who come in. They're only allowed out once every fortnight from the madhouse. So they say. Bless their heart. But yeah, they said there was a lot of buzz around the quiz night, so we gave it a try. The first night, blimey, that was absolutely fantastic. It was absolutely crowded in, absolutely heaving with the food as well. Funny enough, I actually won the first quiz night. It's no coincidence, believe me. Even though one of my best mates was doing the hosting of the quiz night, it's no coincidence, trust me. But yeah, it's build up. That was all a joint effort. We carried it on every couple of weeks. I think the summer now, but once the winter starts kicking in again, we're gonna start pushing it. We're gonna really get the tables going and make it more competitive because it's £2 entry and you win the pot. So,
oh, nice.
That's it. Yeah.
I mean, I think you all have been one of the only pubs out here that have done kind of event themed. So you all did something for St. George's Day, something for St. Patrick's Day as well.
That's correct. Right? Yeah, I mean, I mean, if it helps the public, gets a party going, I'll wear a kilt for St Andrews. You never know. So,
I don't know if I'll pay for that, but I'm
no, I won't do it. I promise I won't do it then.
Yeah, I think didn't for the St. Patrick's Day you all had like a bunch of dancing kids and
from the local the local Gaelic dancers, the Irish
Excellent.
dancers, and they all came out. They got a real buzz going. We had a bit of entertainment, like Irish music being played. The bar staff, bless them, stunning in some Irish attire. So it was all well presented, well decorated as well. Really great.
Could I have
great
gotten
food,
an
really
Irish coffee if I was there?
Could have made one, Brooke. Could have made one.
Oh,
I don't know. I'm not very good with the measurements, though. I think. I've seen your measurements of rum, Brooke. So
that's not a problem. I mean, for those who don't know, I do think there's a picture of this. I might have it wrong. When at some point they just gave me the bottle of Kraken. Like there was just the end of it there, and they're just like, "Here, take it." They put the Coke straight in the bottle, and they handed it to me.
I thought we injected it, didn't we?
Oh no, that was the previous week, you know.
Oh right, sure.
So someone has a picture of me drinking the rum and Coke straight from the bottle, the Kraken bottle. So I don't know where that is.
Let me check the security camera.
Yeah. So I mean, I know what you mean about my portions of rum. So I totally get that. Yeah, I mean, you do tend to travel a lot, though. I mean, you recently got back from, where was it? New York.
New York, yeah. Went over to New York City. That was for 2 weeks. That was an experience itself. That was good fun. That was great fun. You ever been to New York?
I haven't been to New York. I've been to a couple places in the US, but for some reason, never made it to New York. And I have a lot of friends there, which is ironic. But yeah, I've got to do that trip. Probably for Christmas one year, I will do New York because I hear it's beautiful at Christmas time.
Yeah, man. I've never been Christmas time, but apparently I've heard it as well. It's if you like the urban cities, it's a phenomenal place. So much history, so much culture. You could be walking down the town 1 minute and you're in Italy. The next you turn around the corner, you're back in even dare I say the rough area. Then you turn around the city again, and you're in the Chinatown. It's a really diverse community. It's a fantastic place.
Yeah, I've heard so. And again, I have a lot of friends out there. Even my friend Spec Hill, I think he's in close to Spec. Are you in New York or are you in New Jersey? I can't remember which one. I know he's close by. In fact, a mutual friend between him and myself invited me to come and stay with him and his family at one point, but I had some financial problems and I had to cut the trip short and stuff like that. Do you prefer London or New York?
Well, being born in London, I'd always say London. I know it's going to upset a lot of people in New York, but I think if I was from New York and I went to London, I'd say New York. It's I think they're just two very similar cities. It's New York's just on a wider scale, you know.
It's a lot bigger, you'd say.
I'd say, yeah, absolutely. It's just London's got its charm. London's got its history. London's got its proud culture. I would always say London.
Yeah, it's very different because I know New York is laid out like a grid. It's a much newer city, it's a lot more skyscrapers and all of this good stuff. London has a few skyscrapers in like the center, the city of London aspect of it. Yeah. But it has the history. That was the most amazing thing. I went to somewhere called the Jamaican Wine House in, I don't think it was central London, but kind of close to the Liverpool Street area. And there was a stone step that was outside the building that was literally indented from over 400 years of people stepping on this stone to get into this pub. And I stopped for like 5 minutes to look at this thing and be like, this has been here for 500 years. The amount of people that have passed into this place. And that was just amazing to me. And yeah, that is the charm for London. If you like the history and you like all these things, you've got the city of London, which is ultra modern, skyscrapers, the Shard, all that kind of stuff. And then just across the bay, you've got the Tower of London, Buckingham Palace, even the remains of the Roman Wall and stuff like that. So it's really, it's a clash in that sense, but it's a beautiful city. I tend to. I mean, I haven't been to New York, so I can't say it. I like London. When I get to New York, I'll have to let people know.
Like New York is fantastic. Trust me. But when you look at London, you think, well, you think what a great place London is. That's
yeah, completely agree. And that kind of brings me to the Brexit conversation, because a lot of people believe that, you know, if once Brexit takes place, all of these people are going to leave London to go and work in continental Europe. But the fact of the matter is, nobody wants to leave London. Are you crazy? Like, there's nowhere else like London. Exactly. It's like, where, go Frankfurt, Germany? Are you nuts? Like,
would you want to go to Paris?
It's like, you want to go to Paris? There's nothing in
your
Paris.
Girlfriend there for the weekend, have a glass of wine and a few snails. But God, would you really want to leave London?
I mean, that's it. All of the few, I don't know too many, but the few expats I do know, some Italians, a couple girls who are Polish. They've all said the same thing. It's like, no, the lifestyle of living in London, the theater, the transportation, the different foods, the culture, the entertainment, just everything. You cannot quite find that mix anywhere else in Europe.
No,
I don't know how. I don't know how it is in New York. Let's see. Spec is saying it's kind of similar. There's no place like New York. Maybe that's true. I haven't been there.
It's no place like New York, but yeah, you know. But we live near London, so there's no place like London.
London is our New York, at least in Europe. It's definitely the unofficial capital of Europe.
Exactly. There we go.
So just touch. I mean, we're coming up on time, so we're just going to touch kind of bullet points on a few things. Where do you stand on the whole Brexit negotiations and where we're at?
Well, I suppose when you know, like I've always said to people, when I go on job interviews, I've asked, how's Brexit going to do? And I think it's always, I don't know why I ask the question, because it's always the answer I give. It's no one understands Brexit. My view is, I think the more things change, the more they'll just stay the same. I don't think it's going to do anything to us economically. I think we'll be still in a strong state. But yeah, I honestly don't see any changes that's going to affect the UK on that matter. We've got enough deals coming through. I think we just have to see how it comes. But I think I can understand there's a lot of fear, especially, you know, someone in your position. Even if you're not scared of it, then you know, then why would you be scared? It's unless you're mainly dealing with, you know, the EU. You know, countries, you're fine, but we'll be dealing a lot more with the United States. We'll be doing them more with Australia, our Commonwealth cousins, you know, so Canada, you know, China even working on big deals with us, and as well as Japan. So if you've got the biggest commodities, you know, markets in the world wanting to deal with us, maybe I'm being naive. How's that going to be a bad thing?
I completely agree. I completely agree. In fact, I suspect, well, I mean, this will come out once we know, because you're exactly right. Nobody really knows. But nobody's ever gone broke from free trade, you know, controlling your own borders, having more control over your currency and your economy. Nobody goes broke as long as you don't fuck it up and, you know, go like communism style, right?
Exactly.
And I think, a lot of the draconian like even me, I'm a small business. Right, it's me. Right, I am the business. I work in property and finance. I have these ridiculous EU regulations to get access to the New York markets, and I gotta fill in this thing. And they need, like, every trade that I have, they gotta have this particular paper trail, and it's just unnecessary burden. To be honest, it's not a huge thing, but it's stupid. I don't need that.
Yeah, it's
far less for. Yeah, exactly. So far less for bigger businesses that have a lot of people. That's a lot of bureaucracy that they've got to put up with. So
exactly.
Yeah, I'm not worried. I think, okay, maybe the farmers might take a hit, but they just have to change their crops, you know.
Yeah.
You know, they're worried about, of course, the sheep and the cow farmers. Obviously, you're not worried about that because you've gone vegan. Because we're just going to import our meat from Australia and Argentina, and it's going to be like half the price. So yeah, all right, then there might be an upset, but you balance that with the fact that they didn't really care about our fishermen when they got us into this thing.
Exactly.
Right. Suddenly they're screaming about jobs and all this, but they didn't care when they destroyed the fisheries, right?
I mean, you just look at Scotland, for example. I mean, they have the biggest biggest stock of langoustines, and we're always
Yes.
crying out for them in our restaurants, but they send them to Spain, and we've got to get our fish from Spain. How's that? You've got to look.
Exactly.
It goes back to being ecologically friendly. How's that going to help if you're going to minimise the amount of the carbon footprint on dealing with our farmers and dealing with our fishery, our dairy farmers? Surely isn't that can also be a good thing? Time will tell, but
get it in house. Don't have the transport of shipping it from back and forth. I would agree with. I'm not a big global warming kind of carbon kind of thinking. I respect people who have the opinion. I think we don't fully know, but that's definitely an objective out here. And I think what you just said is a very good selling point, that if we can source the stuff here, if you believe in that, that should be a good reason why we should get out of this thing. So I'm in complete agreement with that.
Got to help the locals.
Yeah, exactly. Help the local economy and all these things. And well, for those who don't know, we recently got a new prime minister.
Have we?
Boris Johnson. Do you have anything to say for our new prime minister? Any thoughts on our new prime minister? He's definitely a lot more fun than our last prime minister.
Tell me about it. Oh God. She looked like death warmed up, bless her. No, it's time will tell. I think, I always said to stop a monarchical situation, you have to send in a maniac, and I think that's what we've done. We've got what's the worst that could happen than Boris? What's the worst that can happen? I think
completely agree.
I think he comes across like an idiot, but I think his way of thinking is a lot more clued up than people take him for.
I think you're spot on. He's very entertaining, like very much like how Trump got elected. I wasn't the biggest Trump supporter at the time, but I thought above all else, he's going to be entertaining as hell. And he hasn't disappointed at least in that respect. I feel the same thing. I was bored to tears with our previous prime minister, Theresa May.
Blimey. Oh.
Yeah. She was kind of had this school teacher lecture kind of vibe that came off. I respected the office and all this other stuff. And in the beginning, she was talking very strong about Brexit, and obviously that whole thing fell apart.
Correct.
Bored to tears. But so I'm looking forward, if nothing else, Boris is going to be very entertaining. I'm hopeful on the policies. I think he can deliver it. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, exactly. I mean, as long as he can live up to the policies and he can get the backing, then it's going to be then time will tell. But got to be positive on these things. What's the worst that can happen?
Absolutely. Do you have any political aspirations? Are you going to be prime minister someday, or?
I'll put my coffee cup on the red button, for God's sake. I don't really want to be prime minister.
I mean, at one point I did see you threatening to run for city council, so I'm just wondering if
I don't want the pay cut.
Yeah, that was what I said as well. It's like, no, I can't afford the pay cut to work on the council.
we'll run together.
Yeah, I'm with you, bro. I think that's a great idea. I don't know when the next election will probably be in 2 years, but maybe if this goes viral and we get a good following in the Abbey, I'll campaign with you, man. It's good. So we're wrapping it up here, man. Martin, is there any kind of final thoughts you want to put in? Anything that you want to touch on before we close it up here?
I think we've had a very enjoyable evening, Brook. So you get down. I've got your like saying, being a pawn key, I've got your subscription with me, so you have to take that. By the way. That's getting in the way. Everyone's getting a bit getting it. Think they're mine now, Brook. I'm joking. It's all been good, Brook. I really appreciate joining you on this very fine podcast. I'll be definitely tuning in.
Thank you. And how can people get in touch with you via social media? What are you available on? What's the best way to do that?
I'm available on the Instagram. I don't accept on Facebook. I'm getting too many Swedish models trying to be my friend. I just can't keep up with them. Instagram, I accept most people on Instagram as long as they're not serial killers or weirdos. I think that's it. And Twitter. Oh, don't forget Twitter, which is on my. I don't know if that's on the actual username. Is it? Is that showing?
My own is the Twitter. I don't know, the one that you put in. Is this your Twitter? Yeah. Okay. So
Twitter.
This is your Twitter handle. Okay. Excellent.
So
Excellent. And is it also your Instagram? If not, just send me.
no, I've got my Instagram as well. I'll send that all over. Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent.
If you want to follow, then
fantastic. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Martin Harte. Thank you again for joining me, my friend. I don't know if this is on in the Harp, but you know how. Thanks for everybody who might have been watching this.
I've heard laughter in the background, and I don't think people are laughing at this time much. So it's probably got on the 50-inch HD screen, and
oh my goodness, fantastic!
It's like one of them moments where you go off to do something, you forget people can hear you, and then you're walking back, and it's like, what the heck?
And of course, thank you to everybody who joined us in the chat. My friend Specular Effect is there. He was also a gentleman I interviewed. Hope you're doing well, my friend. I think he's heading. He says he's going to have a shandy and go and relax a little bit. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for tuning in. Again, I will put all the social media links below for myself, Martin Harte, even the Welsh Harp, if you're interested in checking that out. Hopefully, this is a series I'll continue. I'll see if I can find some more great people in the Abbey to bring on for the next interview. So, as always, guys, thanks for watching. Take care.
Cheers, everyone. Thank you.